Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Jalashri Ranjani welcomes you in the 11-day free webinar series organized by Aisha in association with Samragee Homoeopathic Clinic. Today is our first day and it's our fortunate to have Dr. Erzsébet Tûrós ma'am with us today. Heartily welcome ma'am and also welcome to all the participants for today's section. Thank you.
Okay, so give me a short introduction about today's speaker, Dr. Erzsébet Tûrós, ma'am. So, ma'am is a MD and did a Homeo IACH diploma from Greece. Ma'am did master's course, that is the MCAH master's course in advanced homeopathy from the Other Song International Academy of Advanced Homeopathy, Mumbai, India. Ma'am is a specialist in family medicine, master in psychological counseling and psychotherapy, executive member, committee member of Afghanistan Homeopathic Association, and the member of Homeopathic World Community. First, ma'am learned homeopathy in Bucharest in 2011 to 2013, followed by e-learning course with Professor George Vithoulkas from International Academy of Classical Homeopathy and Tech Diploma in 2016. In the same year, ma'am met Dr. Rajan Sankaran and the sensation method also. So between 2016 to 18, ma'am followed many online courses about repertory and mentoring at the Other Song International Academy of Advanced Homeopathy, Mumbai. In 2018, ma'am Tech participated on the master's course with Dr. Rajan Sankaran and the same year with the week with Rajan. Ma'am learned a lot from Dr. Gaurang and consider him also as a mentor of her. She graduated in the University of Medicine and Pharmacy from Cluj-Napoca and worked as a physician in a psychiatric hospital for chronic mental ill patients for 20 years, innovating the treatment through introducing occupational therapy and art therapy. The highest recognition of Ma'am's work happened when she was nominated for Nobel Peace Prize in 2005. Ma'am always has the desire to understand the human psyche as deep as possible, and that's why I wanted to understand the dynamic of human relationship. That's why, in parallel with the work, all the time she studied something. She is a training course in family therapy between 1999 to 2001. In 2005 to 7, ma'am did a master in psychological counseling and psychotherapy. In Madam's designation, she did a research about perception of disease and hospitalization in leukemia patients. In 2017, Ma'am did a co-founded a alternative association for leukemia patients. Between 2009 to 2016, Ma'am teached geriatrics and palliative care in the Sanitary High School for Nurses. Between 1999 to 2002, Ma'am did charitable consultation as a general practitioner at the philanthropic Hahnemann Foundation of the Catholic Church, St. Michael's. In 2002 to 2003, Ma'am did family therapy consultation with a phrase project for the prevention of child abuse and emotional neglect. Madam did also psychosomatic medicine, New German medicine, germotherapy, Schuler's salt, best flower remedies, and astrology also. Ma'am practices since last 7 years and have experience in behavioral problems in children anxiety, panic attacks, OCD, depression, PCOD, climatic related problems, thyroid diseases, migraine, allergy, asthma, aneurysm, and so many things, etc. Ma'am held many patient awareness workshops, presentations about the effectiveness of homeopathy at international conferences, includes at alternative therapy conferences, health and lifestyle symposiums, and spoke also in radio and television repeatedly. So, and ma'am also shared some of his cases in Homeopathy Journal and reviewed Dr. Gaurang's book Decoding Mental Rubric and Materia Medica of Nosot and Sarkod. So this is in short about our today's speaker. So thank you so much for being with us, ma'am, today. Thank you.
So before bringing ma'am on stage, I would like Dr. Divyasri ma'am to say a few words about Aisha. Dr. Divyasri ma'am.
Hi, good evening, friends. A few words about Aisha. All India Homeopathic Students and Youth Association. It is one of the largest association of homeopathic students and youth of our country. This association plays a great role in the upliftment of youth and young homeopaths to take homeopathy, to take the responsibility on their shoulders. This is the association of the students, for the students, and by the students. The aim of this association is to work selflessly for the upliftment of ailing humanity. We believe on the phrase, united we stand and divided we fall. So this is the right time for all the young pets across the country to come together and work for the betterment of the nation to make India the most powerful nation by devoting their time and work in the right direction for the nation. We organize free health camps, free seminars, free webinars, blood donation camps, and also we have developed our own library which we give to the students who are not able to afford books. Aisha family conduct all 8 OPDs at remote village areas. We also promote scientific and research-oriented mind of the youth by publishing the articles or presentations or any kind of literature which is of value for the homeopathic fraternity and for the humanity in our magazine called Homeo Vision. We believe in the importance of time, so our motto is to awake, arise, and work before it's too late because aim says, I am always in motion. Our thoughts are our actions, so we believe in having a positive mindset to believe ourselves for rising above the mass, for achieving higher purposes of our existence. Thanks.
Thank you. And so it's now time to bring our guest on screen, Dr. Erzsébet Tûrós. Hello ma'am.
Namaste.
Namaste
Hello,
ma'am.
everyone. Um, First of all, I would like to thank you for Dr. Vibha Mevada for inviting me to be a presenter of your prestigious revolutionary webinar series. For me, as a European homeopath, it is a great honor to be part of this webinar series because I am between very well-known and successful Indian homeopaths. And as we all know, India is a very leader in about homeopathy. In the next, I would like to present you two of my cases. And through my cases, I will speak about panic disorder and pregnancy, and another case about Pavon Nocturn healed successfully with homeopathy. So now I will put my PowerPoint on the screen. So, as Dr. Vibha have already presented myself, I am Dr. Erzsébet Tûrós from Cluj, Romania. And I don't repeat what Dr. Vibha had already told about myself. So, I will start to speak about what is panic disorder. A panic attack is a sudden episode of intense fear that triggers severe physical reactions when there is no real danger or apparent cause. Panic attacks can be very frightening. When panic attacks occur, you might think you are losing control, having a heart attack, or even dying. If you have had recurrent, unexpected panic attacks and spent long periods in constant fear of another attack, you may have a condition called panic disorder. Although panic attacks themselves aren't life-threatening, they can be frightening and significantly affect your quality of life. Now, let's see which are the signs or symptoms of panic attack. There are like sense of impending doom or danger, fear of loss of control or death, shortness of breath or tightness of your throat, dizziness, lightheadedness or faintness, numbness or tingling sensation, feeling of unreality or detachment. You can experience chills or hot flushes, nausea, abdominal cramping, chest pain, headache, sweating, rapid pounding heart rate, trembling or shaking. About the causes, these factors may play a role, like genetics, major stress, temperament, people more sensitive to stress or prone to negative emotions, certain changes in the way parts of your brain function. Some research shows that the body's natural fight or flight response to danger is involved in panic attacks, but it is unknown why a panic attack occurs when there is no obvious danger present. About the risk factors, the symptoms of panic disorder often start in the late teens or early adulthood and affect more women than men. So about the risk factors, there are like family history of panic attacks or panic disorder, major life stress such as the death or serious illness of a loved one, a traumatic event such as sexual assault or a serious accident, major changes in your life such as a divorce or the addition of a baby, smoking or excessive caffeine intake, history of childhood physical or sexual abuse. And there are a few complications because if it is left untreated, it can affect almost every area of the life. You may be so afraid of having more panic attacks that you live in a constant state of fear, ruining your quality of life. So the person can develop specific phobias such as fear of driving or leaving your home, frequent medical care for health concerns and other medical conditions, avoidance of social situations, problems at work or school, depression, anxiety disorders, or other psychiatric disorders, increased risk of suicide or suicidal thoughts, alcohol or other substance misuse, or financial problems. But what about the homeopathic approach? As we homeopath, we know that in homeopathy there are some basic principles formulated by Samuel Hahnemann, and the two of the most important principles are, first is the individualization, which means that we treat the person in the disease and not the disease, and the other is the holist, which means that we take in consideration the totality of the symptoms on mental, emotional, and physical level, the causality, and also the life circumstances. So now I will start to present to you my first case, which was a 30-year-old married woman who came to me with diagnosis panic disorder, depression, and she was pregnant in 5 weeks. The visit took place last year in September. She presented with the chief complaints, recurrent panic attacks, anxiety, and depressive state, being treated in psychiatry for a few months. She was treated with escitalopram daily and alprazolam, and since a week, she found out that she is pregnant. And because they, as a couple, they wanted to keep the baby, and because the treatment from the psychiatrist is not recommended during pregnancy, so the psychiatrist stopped her treatment, and that was the reason why she came for homeopathic treatment. About the case history and life circumstances, so it is a young married woman from Romania who graduated the university being economist. 2 years before, they moved together with husband in the United Kingdom to work there. She experienced there an intense homesickness and presented also some physical complaints, being exhausted from working too much. After that, she presented also vertigo. They returned from the United Kingdom and she was admitted in the psychiatry, presenting very intense fear of diseases, anxiety, panic attacks, and depression. Although she took the treatment, her state was the same. So about her nature and her complaints, I find out that she experiences episodes of choking and constrictive pain in epigastrium, having the feeling that she is controlled by somebody else beyond her will, some superhuman force. She all the time is trying to control the situations. She has fears of not to get mad. She used to brood a lot. She used to worry because of money. When this situation started, she got tired from the United Kingdom because she had to work a lot there and experienced the strong homesickness, which she suppressed because her husband used to say, "You have to resist, other people are dealing with the same situation." So she felt underestimated. She would return home earlier, had a lot of fight on this topic with husband. After coming back home, she felt that others are moving forward. They just stagnate. She is very competitive, but even at her workplace now, she feels that she is underestimated because she is not paid well enough. She is the one who all the time is left behind, she said. And I asked her, what does it mean? She said that she fears being underpaid. She also said, my husband is a little quiet. I would like to talk more. And she was speaking continuously. There was no need for questions. She is anxious when she has to perform. She presents also sleeplessness because of constant worry and anxiety. At her workplace, she has a colleague which is very dominating toward her. If something bad is happening with her, if somebody offends her, she becomes revengeful. In a conflict, she does not give up easily. She doesn't like to adapt after others. When she is angry, she became hysterical aggressive. She used to put a lot of questions, being very curious. Sometimes she is envy on others, having a feeling of inferiority. Before, she was very religious. Now she missed those times. She is interested in other cultures too. If she would have money, would like to travel in the East. She feels irritated by people who used to behave like being important, who want to go everywhere, who flatter and manipulate. She said, I am not like this. About her fears, she had fears that something to happen with her mother or husband. She has fear of fears. She said, from where are the thoughts coming from? She has fear that they, the doctors, will not be able to calm me down. She also presents fear of diseases that I will never heal. Other fears she has no because she said she used to hike, so she is a brave person, having no any fears. About her hobbies, she likes to move, like running, hiking, to be creative, to arrange her house, to cook, to be active, to go to party. Now she is missing this because her husband doesn't like it. And her favorite fairy tale was The Beauty and the Beast. About dreams, she does not remember. And about the other interest, she has a strong desire to have a child. She is very attached to her family, has a low self-confidence. She loves very much cats. She does not like changes. She likes the autumn. She feels worst in the morning. She feels that her life now is depressing. The husband's opinion about her was that she is very headstrong. About her history and the family history, there were no significant illnesses in the family. About the childhood, also her father was dominating with her. In childhood, she was scolded because of her younger sister. Sometimes she was aggressive with her sister. She was attached to her grandmother, but she died since a few years, having remorse that she neglected her. In the school, she was the first, being very good in mathematics. She was interested in philosophy also. She could not fit in between the other girls in boarding school because she felt oppressed. One of the girls dominated her. Even now at her workplace, there is a colleague who dominates her. About her physical genitals, she used to present constrictive pain in epigastrium when stressed. She is warm-blooded. She does not tolerate anything around her neck. Her menses was regularly before pregnancy, presented swelling of mammae and pain in lower abdomen before menses, ameliorated once the menses started. She has desire for pasta, aubergine, and alcohol. The thirst is present. She used to be constipated. Her libido is decreased, and she presents aggravations in morning. Now, if we start to analyze the case, before to analyze, I would like to remind us that Samuel Hahnemann in the Organon in paragraph 214 had written, "The instructions I have to give relative to the cure of mental diseases may be confined to a very few remarks, as they are to be cured in the same way as all other diseases, namely, by a remedy which shows, by the symptoms it causes in the body and mind of a healthy individual, a power of producing a morbid state as similar as possible to the case of disease before us, and in no other way can they be cured." So, taking in consideration this, I would like to ask you, which are the most peculiar, intense, and striking symptoms here? I don't know if I have time to stop and to wait for the answers, or should I continue? So, in my opinion, in this case, we have as peculiar symptom this feeling that she is controlled by somebody else beyond her will, some superhuman force. A very intense symptom is that she is trying to control the situations, which you can observe here that it is very interesting, this theme of control, because in one side she feels controlled by some superhuman force, but on the other side she is trying to control the situations. And another striking symptom is that she felt underestimated, not paid enough, and she would return earlier from the United Kingdom. About her nature, we see that she repeatedly said that she is the one who all the time is left behind. And when I asked her, what does it mean? She said that she fears being underpaid. She also said that I don't like flattering people. I do not use to be like this. And one thing from my observation, that she was very, very loquacious. Practically, she didn't need any question from my side. So she just continued to speak, jumping from one subject to another. Also, she thought that my husband is a little quiet. I would like to talk more. And she said that I am dependent by my husband and my family. From her talk, so the themes which were present were that she is very competitive, is revengeful. When angry, she becomes hysterical, aggressive. She does not like to adapt after others. She does not like changes. She also said that after coming back home, she felt that others are moving forward. They just stagnate. Sometimes she used to be envy on others, having a feeling of inferiority. In a conflict, she does not give up easily, and she presented sleeplessness because of worry and anxiety. So the central theme of the case, as we can see, is the domination. She felt being dominated by father. She dominated her sister, being aggressive with her. She felt dominated at workplace by one of her colleagues, and in the school she could not fit in, being dominated by a girl. About her fears, we find out that she had feared that something happened to mother or husband. She had fear of fears and fear of diseases. About hobbies, we find out that she likes to cook, to move, and she likes parties. Now, if we analyze all this information from the system approach point of view, we can see that taking in consideration this theme of domination by father, by colleague, the conflict with husband, the theme of victim aggressor, because she all the time felt as a victim with her father, with sister, with colleagues from school, or the competition, the feeling that being left behind and underestimated. So all these themes point that the remedy should belong to the animal kingdom. And if we take in consideration also the other themes like the aggressiveness, the jealousy, envy, the theme of superior, inferior, the competition and sensation of being left behind, underestimated, and also her loquaciousness and vivaciousness, it is obvious that the remedy should belong to the reptile subclass. And about the Mayas, so she felt hopelessness. She had a strong despair. She said she has fear that the day the doctors will not be able to calm me down. And she had fear of diseases that I will never heal. On the other side, there was a burden which was beyond her power, because she said that the feeling is that she is controlled by somebody else beyond her will, some superhuman force. So all this points to the syphilitic Mayas. And now when I repertorized her symptoms, taking in consideration this very peculiar, intense and striking symptoms, and I took the rubrics like delusion is under a powerful influence, or delusion is under superhuman control, you can see that these are two rubrics, very small rubrics, with only 2 or 5 remedies. And of course, I took in consideration the other symptoms like her anxiety about health, the brooding, the fear of the disease, fear of impending disease, fear of insanity, also her homesickness, because this was her first symptom practically, her loquacity, religiousness, and all these things. The remedy which came was Lachesis. And now, if I did the sectorial repertorization, taking in consideration her physical generals, and also her very peculiar and intense symptoms like throat choking, stomach pain, cramping, her constipation, the fact that every symptoms of her ameliorated once the menses started, her intolerance of clothing, the desire for alcohol, the warm-blooded, all these symptoms points to the same remedy, Lachesis. And now if, of course, I should maybe the differential diagnosis with the other remedies which came up. But I think that in this case, the best way to do the differential diagnosis would be based on a system approach. And considering that here all these animal themes are so strong, and all these remedies which came up like Argentum nitricum, calcareal sulfur, they are belonging to animal kingdom, or Nux vomica or Ignatia belong to the plant kingdom, it is obvious that the remedy should belong to the animal kingdom, so the remedy is Lachesis. And now let's see the follow-up. On the first follow-up after 1 month, her symptoms ameliorated a lot, 80% since she take the treatment. She had no more panic attacks. The anxiety sometimes is there when she overreacts things. She has no more morning sickness, no more sensation of constriction in epigastrium, and no more choking. She does not feel any more underestimated. Her sleep improved also. She is no more constipated. The appetite is very good. She supports very well her pregnancy. Her libido increased, but she avoids sex because she is worrying for the baby. She had 2 interesting dreams since she started the treatment. The first was that they are running away because some strangers are following them, and they have seen them during committing some crime, and they don't trust them. And the other one, there was an interesting wedding of a known person. On the second follow-up in November, she felt better 100%. She had no more panic attacks, so she stopped taking the remedy because feeling very good. And the last feedback I had from her in July this year, after 10 months of starting the first consultation, and she wrote to me that she delivered a healthy baby girl in 18 April, and now she is a very happy mother. She wrote to me about her motherhood, and she had written, "This was what I needed." She sent me photos about the baby. And now, although Lachesis is a very well-known remedy, is a polycrest, which I'm sure that all of you know very good. Still, I will say a few words about Lachesis. So Lachesis is a snake remedy from Serpentis xenophida viperidae, and it is a pit viper. I choose to write here a few words about Lachesis from this book from Peter Fraser, Transformation Between the Realms, Snakes, Drawing Power from the Underworld. This is a very little book, but it gives a very good description, summarize somehow all these snake remedies. So here we can read that as already we know that it is the largest pit viper and the largest venomous snake in the Western Hemisphere. Homeopathically, it is the best known snake remedy. A characteristic is this loquacity and the ability to perform, which is very pronounced. Also, the jealousy is very powerful in Lachesis. Typically cannot bear any form of restriction. That is why cannot bear, for example, tight clothing. And very, very typical for Lachesis is this aversion to change. So they have aversion to change of season, change of weather, change of life. That is why it is a very good remedy in puberty and also in menopause. And if we remember, so in this case, the symptoms of this patient started once she moved to the United Kingdom. So for her, this change in her lifestyle was not good at all. They also feel worse for the sun and for the light, and that is why they feel worse on waking. Practically also the moment of the waking is also a change because the night is changing to the day. This remedy has affinity to blood and hormones. It is a destructive and syphilitic remedy causing poisoning of the blood and all of the tissues. It has a hemorrhagic nature. And the throat is the most sensitive, is the part which is most sensitive to restriction. Also, it is very well known that it is a strongly left-sided remedy. Now, if we read from the Materia Medica, for example, from Robert's remedies, we can read about Lachesis that it is characteristic, this fear, apprehension, anxiety, fear that of someone behind her, fear of being poisoned. They can have this presentiment of death. Also, timidity of character, anxiety at night, and also it is typical this depression, sadness, melancholy. The sadness can be extreme and is aggravated on waking. They can have this loading of life, hopelessness, even mental dejection and melancholy. From the Sankaran spirit of homeopathy, we can read that is very suspicious. The only way she can be worthy is by egotism and loquacity, satire, mocking, jesting, and by feeling that she is under superhuman control. It is exactly which were her words. From the Sankaran soul of remedy, we can read also that she may tell of going into a trance or being under superhuman control, or she may relate spiritual experiences or religious theories. And she had also this feature of religiousness. From the Sankaran soul of remedies, we can also read about this desire for amusement. This is a very interesting symptom which I find in many, many patients who needed Lachesis. And about the physical symptoms, it is well known that Lachesis patients are invariably hot, may have hot flushes followed by sweating. They can tolerate tight clothes, as is common to snakes, and there is always this fear to be strangled or choked. They present aggravation from sun, and they feel worse after sleep. From the Kent's repertory, we can read also about many delusions characteristic for Lachesis, and between all these delusions, we find again this delusion which was typical for my patient, that being under superhuman control. From Böricke reverse repertory, we can read also about many delusions for Lachesis, like delusion being persecuted by his enemies, delusion poison, and we find again this delusion under superhuman control, effects from jealousy and excitement, and so on. And now I will speak about another case of mine. The other team, this was a 65 years old woman who came to me with this problem of Pavon Nocturn with sleeplessness. A few words about what is Pavon Nocturn. Pavon Nocturn is a sleep disorder which is called also sleep terror. Direct observation of sleep terrors in adults are rare, so that is why our understanding of this sleep disorder is therefore fragmentary. Terrifying dreams or nightmares are manifested mainly in young children in the first hours after sleep. This during a non-REM period, the child screams suddenly, sweats, his heart beats fast, he breathes very often, it is difficult to wake up and calms down. Terrifying dreams and somnambulism are anomalies of awakening. What about the pathogenesis or etiology? There are different, from the psychiatric consideration, the night terror attack is considered as a psychogenic dissociative state during which suppressed aggressive impulses are acted out. But from the psychoanalytic point of view, it should focus primarily on the defense and aggression rather than the anxiety of the initial terror. The etiology of this disorder is still unknown. It seems likely that dispositional factors are involved. About the symptoms of sleep terror, so it is characteristic this intense fear, the panicky scream, the autonomical arousal, heart racing, rapid breathing, sweating, the abrupt awakening from sleep, and also it can happen to be this amnesia for the episode, no detailed dream recalled. About the prevalence is more common in children, like 5%, than in adults, where is very less than 1%. Regarding the allopathic treatment, they can use antidepressants, benzodiazepines, scheduled awakening, and it is also important to say that it does not respond to psychotherapy. So about the case. This patient came to me in June this year, and her chief complaints were like sleeplessness. She used to have repeated nightmares, which makes her which wakes her up in a panicky state, used to scream or to weep because of the intensity of the dreams. So it is obvious that she has this sleep terror or Pavon Nocturn. And she presented also weakness, especially morning after waking. She feels as if fainting and used to lie back several times. So more detailed about her sleep. In the evening, she has difficulties in falling asleep. She used to wake up repeatedly during the night. She has a superficial sleep and wakes up between 2 and 4 o'clock a.m. Her sleep position was on abdomen. She used to drink coffee, and she thought that her sleeplessness is related to the coffee. About her dreams, she used to weep or scream during the dreams. She always dreaming that somebody is on her back all the time. She has been attacked from the back. They want to beat her. That is why she used to go to sleep with the light on. This dream is coming with a periodicity in every 3 months. Sometimes she used to have prophetic dreams also. About her nature, she is introverted but likes to be surrounded by people, but cannot make friends easily. She is lonely. She was left by her husband at the age of 24. Her husband emigrated to America, so she raised alone her son. She never trusted a man. 7 years ago, she had a relationship with a man from Russia, but he was very unsincere, so she felt cheated by him. She is a little lonely. She would like to go to the cinema, but she cannot because she is alone. She does not like to be consolated. About her nature, she said that people are important for me if they are a good company, but the people's duplicity bothers me a lot, or if somebody tries to drive me. Also, the injustice disturbs me. I won't let myself be pursued. I feel the people's intentions. Usually, I observe people closely. If I am very angry, I don't react, neither use to brood. About her interests, she loves art, music, scientific fantastic things, works in a design office. In her free time, she used to make handicraft or read something scientific. She is sensitive on being cheated, being gossiped. She was disappointed by people. She realized when the other person lies. Since the COVID started, she supported very hard being restricted, being controlled, or being checked on her temperature. She used to feel irritated by restrictions. She does not support being spoken to her what to do. It bothers her that the people used to know that she is alone and they tried to trick her. About her fears, she had fear from sudden death, fear that she will not be able to ask for help to be saved, fear in a crowded places, fear of snakes and from birds, fear of water like sea or ocean. When I asked her that which was the biggest stress in her life and the effect on her, she said that since 9 years she moved to the periphery of the city. In this place she doesn't feel good. It's hard to get into the city from there. She misses her old residence, which was in the city. There, when she went out, she was surrounded by people, which she liked a lot. Here, she does not know the people. It is more a kind of rural area. There are no people whom to speak. About her childhood, she is Russian as nationality. Till the age of 3 years old, she was raised in Russia. When she was 6 years old, her sister was born. Sometimes they used to fight with each other. She felt a little bit superior because she was a Russian. In the school, she was irritated by the behavior of the teachers toward the children because they, the teachers, were superior to children. It is frustrating when someone treats the other from above. In this situation, she used to feel revolt, but only in herself. About her physical genitals, she is sensitive to cold, especially sensitive to rain. She does not support being wet by rain. She does not like wet weather at all. She needs fresh air, used to sleep with open windows. If the windows are closed, she feels suffocated. She likes the winter and the spring. In every summer, she used to have pneumonia with low fever. She has palpitation, used to feel her heartbeat when lying down. She presents also heat flushes more in the morning, from down to upward. About her cravings, she has cravings for meat. She does not like to eat meals without meat and sausages. She desires also sweets and tea and coffee. About her thirst, she used to have thirst after coffee. Also, her appetite increases after coffee. There were no problems with urine, and about stool, they have tendency to constipation. About her personal history in childhood, she presented hepatitis and tuberculosis. She went also on tonsillectomy and appendicectomy. She presented cholecystitis at young age, and nowadays she has also a gonarthrosis. About her menopause, it started at the age of 54 year, and she presents also now strong heat flashes from down to upward, mostly in the morning. And now, before to analyze her case, I would like to remind all of us about this 154 paragraph from the organon, where Hahnemann had written, if the antitype constructed from the list of symptoms of the most suitable medicine contain those peculiar, uncommon, singular, and distinguished characteristic symptoms which are to be met with in the disease to be cured in the greatest number and in the greatest similarity, this medicine is the most appropriate homeopathic specific remedy for this morbid state. So again, we have to focus on which is peculiar, uncommon, singular, or characteristic symptom in this case. And in my opinion, the most intense symptoms for which she came to me were the sleeplessness and the weakness. But the most peculiar were that she does not support being spoken to, and she presented this sensitiveness to be reined. About the most striking symptoms were her nightmares and the delusion of being beaten. So now, if I repertorized her case, taking in consideration these peculiar, intense, and striking symptoms, we can see that this rubric of delusion, he is being beaten. It is a very small rubric with just 2 remedies. And of course, I take in consideration also this other peculiar symptom, that anger when spoken to. There we have only 3 remedies, or mind being spoken to, being aversion, and also her palpitation of heart with anxiety, her sleeplessness, her nightmares, her desires, the hot flushes, and the fact that she is aggravated by wet weather. And there is one single remedy which covered all these symptoms, which we can see, that is Elaps. And now if we read about Elaps from the Clarke's dictionary, it is written that it has this great sensitiveness to cold, draught, wind, and wet weather is the worst. They have this horror of rain, and warmth of the bed is worse for them. From the Herring's guiding symptoms, also we can read that it has this fear of being left alone, as if something horrible might happen, horror of rain, angry about oneself, does not wish to be spoken to, and at the last contrariety, body shudders, blood boils with prickling. From the Herring's guiding symptoms, we can read also about this, that it is drowsy all the day and no sleep at night. From Angela Vorey's edition, I found this very interesting rubric, that love partner who openly betrays him or her. And if you remember, she said about this partner which she had 7 years before, which she felt that betrayed her. From the master snakes, we can read that he develops fear of harmless thing as rain, delusion beaten or injured being, and fear happens, something very terrible and horrible of rain. From the Mirilis thematic materia medica, we can read again about these delusions of being beaten or injured being. So now we can use again the system approach for confirmation of our remedy. because as we can see here also, there is always this theme of victim-aggressor, because she felt the victim of her husband or the victim of the teachers. There is also this theme of superior-inferior, that teachers behaved like being superior, and also she felt superior being a Russian. There is also the theme of the attacked being, which she presented in her dream. And there is also the theme of domination, because she felt restricted and she does not support it being spoken to. And again, we have here the qualities of reptile subclass, this suspicious, secretive nature, the fear of sudden attack, this theme of superior-inferior, feeling of being restricted, and her interior antagonist. Because although she does not feel good here where she are living, she haven't changed the situation. So the treatment which I gave her was the Elaps. I gave her 200, 2 doses, although maybe I should give her one, but I choose to give her only to start with 200. And on the first follow-up in the end of July, she said that she is calmer during the day. The weakness and feeling of fainting in the morning stopped. She has no more pain in her knee. Her heat flushes in the morning has not stopped totally, but it is more rare. She falls asleep more easier in the evening and sleep better until 5-6 a.m. She is more patient now as before. She had a dream that she crossed the street kneeling because she has no strength to stand up. It is very interesting, this dream also, because we know that the snakes has no limbs. So this position of kneeling, it is very suggestive for the snake. And sometimes the constipation is still present. And on the second follow-up, now in the 2nd October, in between, she repeated the remedy 2 times at the end of July and at the end of August. So in totally, she took 3 doses, once per month. And in the beginning of October, she said that she feels much better. There is no more any weakness in the morning, no feeling of fainting, no any nightmare. She has no pain in her knee. She presented a herpes on her lips, and her perspiration increased for a while and had a bad odor, but now is okay. They were just temporary. And this respect exactly the direction of cure according to the levels of health by Professor George Vithoulkas, because he emphasizes that during the healing process from a chronic situation, a person can present acute. So this herpes I consider as this kind of acute, which practically healed without any other treatment needed. Her appetite increased. She is no more constipated. She has no more palpitations, and which is more important is that she feels that she is now younger with 30 years as before. And she wrote a review on my Facebook page. You can you have here. It is in Romanian, and here she had written that she felt with 30 years younger now. So a few words about the Elaps corallinus, which is called also Micrurus corallinus. This is also a snake remedy from Serpentes xenophida, but this is from Elapidae. It is called also coral snake. It is a native of Brazil. It is a very shy snake. The venom is neurotoxic and hemotoxic. They have a dread of being alone, but not like company and want to get away from people. There is a dread of rain. They cannot bear to feel it falling on them. Fear also of falling. They have fear of falling physically or fear of falling from her social position. Another very typical symptom is the heart palpitation and constriction of the lungs. They desire cold food and drinks, and very peculiar for Elaps corallinus is that the hemorrhages are even blacker than any of the other snakes. And interestingly, it is a right-sided remedy. These informations are also from the same book from Peter Fraser. And now, just to emphasize a little bit on the differences between Lachesis and Elaps. So Lachesis is aggravated by warm, and Elaps is aggravated by cold and wet. Lachesis has desire for company, while Elaps has this dread of being alone, but not like company and want to get away from people. Lachesis is loquacious, while Elaps is a shy snake, and the Lachesis is left-sided, while Elaps is right-sided. So now a few general characteristics of snake remedies from the same book. I find it very important because in this book I find this very beautifully written, that their concern is with a word that is out of their control and which may destroy them. Their reaction is to impose order and control on everything around them. And if do you remember, my first patient started with this her story, that she feels being under superhuman control, but on the otherwise she's tried to control everything around her. And this is a very important feature of people who need snake remedies, which I find in many patients of mine, this desire to control everything around them. In the venomous snakes, the feeling is that people are against them and their reaction is more subtle and more malicious. Within the vipers, the crotalinae, the pit vipers, are more paranoid and less able to deal with society than any of the other snake remedies. They are the most suspicious and the most malicious of the snakes. The snakes are sensitive how people are around them. And in this second case, do you remember, the patient said that she feels very well the people, how they are, she can read the people around her. They are clairvoyant also, and this is a selfish group of remedies. They tend to use the knowledge and power that they gain from their instinct in a way that will increase their power and put other people in disadvantage. Characteristic is also the periodicity of the symptoms. And in this second case, if do you remember, she said that she had this dream in every 3 months. The snake remedies do not like changes, and as now you can see, this was the causative factor in both the cases. They present aggravation, for example, at pregnancy or delivery, and anywhere when the patient must face a new situation, like a new job, a new school. And in my cases, these changes happen in first case when she changed the country, and in second case when she changed the home place. Snakes are very quick animals. They speak quickly, but they can this confused speech. Snakes are solitary animals. They fight, retaliate, or attack anyone who opposes them. They have also powerful sexual instinct. They are masters of disguise, can be manipulative, charming. They use their look. There is a very interesting rubric, this foppish, and the meaning of this rubric you can read beautifully from the Decoding Mental rubric by Dr. Gaurang Gaikwad. The important affinities are the throat, the blood, and the hormones, and the nervous system. And almost always the snake remedies are constipated. And now, finally, I would like to give you a few things from the other book, The Reptile, by Dr. Rajan Sankaran with Dr. Meghna Shah. The snake alert words at the human level. So there are these themes of superior, inferior, the competition with the disadvantage, one-upmanship, the conspiracy, planning, shaming, plotting. As I said before, they can be manipulative, deceitful, jealous, suspicious. They have strong sexuality. They are usually competitive, vivid, loquacious, They can be also clairvoyant. They can feel persecuted, pursued, hiding, hearing voices. They can have this split, having two wills, lack of moral values, the theme of murder, kill. It is very interesting that in my first case, on the first follow-up, she told me about that dream about something, some people being murdered. The lack of moral values, the desire to be famous, recognized. The glamour, fashion, advertising, appearance is very important for her. And the other thing, which I already said, that they are aggravated by tight clothing. And in many cases, they have this choking and the sensitivity of the throat. And now, finally, I would like to give you this quote from Deepak Chopra. He had written that the best use of imagination is creativity, and the worst use of imagination is anxiety. And I think that these themes, this polarity of anxiety and creativity, we find very beautifully in the snake remedies, because as in my cases, so they can be very anxious persons, but they can also be very creative. In both situations, it was typically that first patient said that she likes very much to arrange her house, this interior design. The second question said that in her free time she used to do handicrafts. So the solution for their anxiety would be to to emphasize on their creativity, because we know that we cannot think in the same time, we cannot have in the same time negative and positive thoughts. So if we manage to be creative, to have good thoughts, positive thoughts, then it can help these patients to deal with their anxiety. So here you have my references. And finally, I would like to thank you again, Dr. Vibha, for inviting me. And I choose this colored purse to remind that in this panicky state, people who experience this panicky state, they have this tendency to see the world just in black and white. But it is very important for them to rediscover that the world has many different colors. So this is my metaphoric invite for them to discover the colors of the world. So thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing with us. And it was a nice webinar. So let me bring my colleague, Dr. Vibha Mevada, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it was. Thank you so much for being with us today, ma'am, because it was a really very good webinar. The cases you presented that are really wonderful, and you lighted about the reptiles especially. That was really commendable. It was very understood about both the reptile remedies and the concept of reptile, how to choose reptile remedies, and of course the rubrics what is selected for the and the analysis, the everything is really to the point and too good for understood for the especially for the students, those who are really confused about how to proceed in the case. So thank you so much for being with us today. We are really fortunate and looking forward to learn more from you also in future also. So I really like to thank our whole team of Aisha, Dr. Arka Mukherjee, Dr. Divyashri ma'am, Dr. Lavanya, Dr. Jalashri, Dr. Kinsuk Goswami sir, and Dr. All the teams. Thank you so much for supporting to manage this program here. So thank you so much for today's program.
Thank you again, Dr. Vibha. It was a great honor for me, and it is a fantastic opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And so we would like to introduce to us Dr. Katali Lavanya Sai. So I would bring up Dr. Katari Lavanya Sai, one of our colleagues, to say some few words of a collaborator with us. We are being collaborating with Samragee Homoeopathic Clinic, and for that, Dr. Katari Lavanya Sai ma'am will say some few words about Samragee. Over to you, Lavanya ma'am.
Thank you, sir. So I would like to tell thing about the Samragee Homeopathic Limit. I'm sorry for that. Homeopathy is an best system based of treating like cures like. Homeopathy aims to stimulate healing responses
Ma'am,
to
it will be best
diseases.
if you turn on your video.
Sir, actually I have a net issue that's
Okay. Let's consider it. You continue.
claims to stimulate healing responses to diseases by administering substances that mimic the symptoms of those diseases in healthy people. To provide the treatment of this wonderful system, Dr. Vibha Mevada, who is a budding and enthusiastic homeopath, has started Samragee Homeopathic Clinic on 4th February 2008 at Indore, Madhya Pradesh, India. Dr. Vibha did BHMS from Nashik University in 2015 and did CCAH certified courses in Advanced Homeopathy and MCAH Mastercourse in Advanced Homeopathy, which are short-term PG course from the Mauritius Institute, the other song, International Academy of Advanced Homeopathy, Mumbai in 2016. And ma'am is a certified yoga instructor, scholar by Yoga Certificate Board, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India. Dr. Vibha Mevada has been trained under renowned homeopaths like Dr. Rajan Sankaran sir, Dr. Dinesh Chauhan sir, Dr. Gaurang Gaikwad sir, and many more sir, and took many national and international webinars. And her article and cases are publishing in many prestigious platforms of homeopathy like National Journal of Homeopathy, homeopathy.com, etc. By following the footsteps of the father of Hahnemann, Dr. Hahnemann, rare diseases are also being treated at Samragee Homeopathic Clinic. The main intent of Samragee Homeopathy Clinic is to serve people. Several health camps, medical camps, free yoga and aerobics workshops has been conducted at the clinic as a benefit action to people. There is no denying that to talk that they do treat here their best to assure a satisfying result, leading to lifeline to better health. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Katari ma'am, for this. And with this, I would like to end today's webinar. And also, first of all, let me just tell you can follow us on Instagram. The link is provided in description, or it may not be, but you can follow us on Instagram by searching Aisha, and over there you can follow us, and do make sure to like our page, Aisha page in Facebook, and and finally, don't forget to subscribe us in order to see new contents like this. It's best if you subscribe us for new contents which are upcoming in future. So thank you. Good night all. And finally, I think I may get it right. Noapte Buna.